All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the complete blueprint for building a surprisingly profitable, high-tech business right here in India. And it all starts with solving one tiny problem you've definitely seen in your own kitchen.
So think about this for a second. Why does the vanilla in your cold coffee dissolve perfectly instead of just floating on top in a clumpy mess? Well, the answer isn't just a cool piece of food science, it's also a fantastic blueprint for a very niche, very profitable business. So, let's start with the science. To really grasp the business opportunity here, we first have to understand the core chemical problem with one of the most popular flavors in the entire world.
Okay, so the villain in our story is vanillin. That's the main thing that gives vanilla its flavor. But it has a secret problem. In its normal form, it's hydrophobic. I mean that literally, it's water-fearing. So if you try to drop it into a cold drink, it just clumps up or floats. Not exactly a great customer experience, right?
And this right here, this is the entire reason this business can exist. On one side, you have standard vanillin. It's grainy, it clumps up in anything cold, and on the other side, you have a water-soluble version that just disappears perfectly. That performance gap, that is exactly where your new company lives.
So how do we fix it? Well, it's with this really elegant process called microencapsulation. The best way to think about it is like this. You're putting a tiny water-soluble jacket on every single particle of vanillin. And that jacket, which is made from a simple corn-based sugar, is what lets the vanillin dissolve instantly in cold water. It's brilliant.
Okay, so we've got the science sorted. Now for the really exciting part. Let's look at why this clever little fix creates such a huge business opportunity. This is where the chemistry turns into cash.
Just look at the value that one single technical fix creates. By solving that solubility problem, you're not selling a simple commodity anymore. You're selling a premium solution. And the market is willing to pay 3 times more simply because your product works where the standard one just fails. And that premium price tag, it flows directly to your bottom line. You can expect a net profit margin somewhere between 20 and 35%. And that's possible because you're not competing on price anymore. You've solved a very specific problem for your customers, and that's where the real value is created.
So who are you selling to? Well, just think about any company that needs flavor and a cold liquid. We're talking about the huge beverage companies making flavored milk. We're talking about pharmaceutical companies that are desperate to make kids' medicine taste better. And even big bakeries making things like no-bake cheesecakes. They all have this problem, and you have the solution.
Okay, so you see the market, you see the margins, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's look at the actual blueprint for building this factory from the ground up. You know, the process itself is actually a lot more straightforward than you might think. First, you mix all the ingredients into a slurry. Then, you blend it until it's perfectly uniform. Next, a machine called a spray dryer instantly turns that liquid into your fine, valuable powder. And the last step, which is absolutely critical, is testing every single batch to make sure it performs perfectly. Now, this is the heart of your entire operation. You really only need 3 key machines to get started. A high-shear mixer to create the blend, the spray dryer to do the magic, and a dehumidifier to protect your final product from moisture. It's a really focused, lean setup. And on the legal side, these are the absolute must-haves. You want to structure as a private limited company because it just signals trust and professionalism to big B2B clients. And getting your FSSAI and pollution control licenses, that's not just about compliance. It's about proving that you are a professional, reliable supplier they can count on.
So, your factory is built, your licenses are all in place. Now for the most important part. How do you go out and get customers? How do you convince them to buy from you?
In this world, you have to forget about flashy marketing. When you're selling B2B ingredients, proof is everything. Your most powerful sales tool isn't a clever ad campaign. It's a technical data sheet with hard numbers that prove your product's purity and, most importantly, how fast it dissolves. So here's your playbook. You can't compete with the giants on volume, so you outservice them locally. You offer faster delivery, and you're willing to sell in smaller quantities. You prove your product works by giving away free samples. You target the actual decision makers, the R&D heads, directly on places like LinkedIn. And eventually, you can even make products for other brands to really scale up.
So you've landed your first few clients. Awesome. What does the path to growth really look like? Let's map out the first 3 years of your new flavor empire.
The growth plan is all about smart, strategic phases. Year 1 is simple. Just dominate your local 50-mile radius. Become the absolute go-to supplier for everyone nearby.
Then, in year 2, once you've perfected the process and built a great reputation, use that same equipment to roll out other water-soluble flavors like lemon or cardamom. By year 3, with a strong base at home, you're ready to start looking at export markets, especially booming beverage hubs in the Middle East.
Of course, no business is without risks, but the big ones here are completely manageable. That fine powder can be a safety hazard, so you use flame-proof equipment. Simple. Vanillin prices can swing wildly, so you keep a 2-month buffer stock to smooth things out. And moisture is the absolute enemy of your product, so a controlled, air-conditioned packaging area is essential.
So there you have it, the complete blueprint, from the core science all the way to the sales strategy and the growth plan. It's a fantastic niche opportunity, blending food science with smart business. The blueprint's right here. The only question left is, who's going to be the one to build it?